2 weeks ago today, Illinois experienced an eclipse. Some parts of the state experienced that total darkness. In that eclipse, I had an epiphany. Jerry Reinsdorf and his franchise, the Chicago Bulls and Chicago White Sox, are very similar to that eclipse, dimming the Chicago sports landscape. On Friday, the Bulls wrapped up another frustrating season. The Heat without Jimmy Butler wiped the floor with the Bulls. And much like that rare event, the eclipse, the Bulls have gone 20 plus years without an Eastern Conference Finals appearance. We have to ponder what's next for the Bulls. What's on the horizon for your Chicago Bulls? This may seem like a hot take. The Bulls may be the franchise with the worst immediate prognosis, short term and long term, in the entire NBA. And I know some people, some fans of teams at the bottom of the standings would disagree. The Bulls have gone their third straight year being eliminated before the second round, second straight year being eliminated in the play-in. And they don't have any young stars to build around. They have Kobe White, who's in the running for most improved player. They have Ayu Dosumu, who showed tremendous growth. And they got Asian veterans, DeMar DeRozan, who's a free agent, and Vucevic. And they got one guy who hasn't played in 3 years. There's no trending up for the Chicago Bulls. There's no reason to believe that next year will be any better. In fact, I venture to say that next year will be worse. And unfortunately for the Bulls, their chances of landing a top lottery pick are slim to none. Qualifying for the play-in and winning 39 games, they'll probably end up somewhere with pick number 11 to 14. Not where you're going to find players that are going to really help the franchise. Watching other fans first network, a Pistons fan said, I'd love to be the Bulls. 39, 40 wins, I'd love that. And I can understand their frustration. But at least they got a shot at a top 3 pick. They already have Cade Cunningham. They have some young people. They got a chance at another young stud. Another chance of building. We don't have that in Chicago. What the Bulls do have is season ticket holders. They got a stadium that is sold out most nights. What they have is enough for ownership to stay the course, to not make any improvements. They got the attention of Chicago when they don't deserve it. What's the future hold for your Bulls? Probably more middle of the pack. So eventually the bottom falling out. 40 plus years with this ownership, Bulls advanced beyond the second round twice without Michael Jordan. They haven't seen a second round appearance since the deceased Kobe Bryant was in a Lakers uniform. LeBron was in Cleveland. And current NBA phenom Wemby was in grammar school. What the Bulls front office has been selling us is they've been victims. We were so close with Derrick Rose. We built a good team around him. We went to the Eastern Conference Finals. Then his knee gave out. And that messed up their plan. Noah got hurt. We lost out on an MVP candidate. However, teams like Oklahoma City have lost 2 MVP candidates and have rebuilt themselves and are now at the top of the Western Conference, the most competitive conference. Cleveland lost arguably the GOAT and then another generational talent in Kyrie Irving. They're currently in the top 4 of the East. You got Boston. They went for it all 15 years ago and got aging veterans like Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett to team up with Paul Pierce. That team got old. The Celtics got bad. And now they've rebuilt that team around Tatum and Jaylen Brown through good scouting and through a clear plan to be bad and to rebuild back up. The Lakers, at the end of the Kobe years, they were pathetic, terrible team. They retooled. They had a bunch of picks. Not all those guys worked out. A lot of those guys scattered around the league with mixed results. But they used those guys to bring in Anthony Davis. They had the cap room and the plan to lure in LeBron James. And it culminated in a title. The Denver Nuggets. Plan didn't work with Carmelo Anthony and some other highly drafted picks. Good scouting. They got Nikola Jokic, and won a title a couple of years ago. So the angle that the Bulls have been beset by bad luck, it's just not good enough, Chicago. So with all that being said, I have a resolution for Michael Reisendorf in the Bulls front office. Be honest with yourselves and be honest with the fans. Let us know what type of team you're building. If you're trying to make this a team where you're not focused on winning, you're focused on sales, let us know. We might still come to the stadium if you lower ticket prices. That's fine. We're adults. We can handle the truth. And be honest with yourselves. The roster that you're building is not good enough to compete or contend for anything in the NBA. 19th seed. There's no upside to this roster. There's some cool rotational pieces. There's a couple guys that are three on a good team, but this isn't it. You can't sell us that any longer. Eventually, it's going to look like the other team that you guys own on the south side, empty. And I think that's what it may have to come down to. What the Bulls need now is a clear plan going into this offseason. Either you're going to bottom this thing out, sell off your assets like Levine, DeRozan, Vucevic, get younger and try to build around acquire multiple draft picks and build around those guys, keep Kobe and Dosunmu, or you're going to have to try a little bit harder to acquire top level veteran talent. So I don't feel like the attempts have been sincere. I also got to call out Bulls fans. The GOAT talk, the GOAT team debates, those are entertaining. But it's letting the Bulls front office off the hook, and it's not dealing with reality. Jordan's gone. He's not walking through that door. The 72-10 team is gone. They're not walking through that door. It's time to live in the present. The Lakers and the Celtics got more history than every other team in the NBA combined. They're hanging up 17 banners, 16 banners, multiple Hall of Famers. The president ain't Laker fan. They remember Magic Johnson. They're not engaging in GOAT point guard debate daily about him versus Curry. They're not concerned about that. They're concerned about the now. Bulls fans, we're still talking about GOAT debates. I'm sorry. Jordan is not relevant in today's game. Jordan isn't even a part of the Bulls franchise. 72-10 Bulls have no relevance to today's game. That's the cold, hard truth about it. Right now, the product is not good. We can't continue to bury our heads in the sand and reminisce about fonder days of MVP Jordan, the duo with Pippen, and 2-3 back-to-back three-peats. It's time to get behind a current team. It's time to build new. I like what the Bears are doing. They're building something new. We're not talking about monster to midway anymore. We're transitioning from that. Bears hit so many low points, but in the Bears' defense, at least they've been willing to make changes. The Bulls are on the same status quo since Jordan retired. Not acquiring stars, heading back to the draft to draft guys who are going to flame out, and shopping in the bargain bin. We're getting guys like the mid-level, lower level stars, not even mid-level. How many Jalen Rose have to walk through here, and Vucevic, and DeMar DeRozan, and Carlos Boozer? and Paul Gasol. Guys coming to finish their career off, get a payday, get a little bit more playoff glory, and then ride off to the sunset in front of a packed stadium. Bulls fans, this has to end now, and it has to start with us too. Be red.